Welcome back. Dale Myers with Football Advance. This is part 2 of why I love option football. We had a little technical difficulties at the end of the previous video. And so, quick 30-second recap. Why I love option football. I can take 2 or more defensive studs out of the ball game. It gives overmatched teams a chance to beat Goliath. And it's great for teams with multiple athletes. Now you can have the equivalent of a 4-back offense on the field at times. And you don't need a pro-style quarterback. You can get by with a stud of an athlete back there or just a serviceable guy. Control the clock. You're not beating yourself as long as you protect the football. You're shortening the game so Goliath can't keep you scoring points on you at will. It's simple to install and adjust. And, once you're in it, you can learn the adjustments. Hard to defend with 1 week of prep. So when the defense coordinator is giving you his defense of the week, his guys are eventually going to go back to what they've been doing for the last 6 months instead of what they've been doing for that 1 week of time, which will lead to big plays. You will get some big plays, and it will absolutely crush an undisciplined football team. So that's some of the things that I like about option football. But it's not all great. There are some negatives you need to consider. 1, it's quarterback dependent. And, well, actually, let me go back. So before I get to that one, this tied in together. It's quarterback dependent. So you could call a right play, and the quarterback still has to make the right read. If you get everything you want and the quarterback messes it up, it hurts you. And that is actually kind of going back to one thing I did leave off of here that I should have wrote is that why I like option football. As an offensive coordinator, I don't have to be right every time. Sometimes I'm going to be wrong. But it gives me the ability, if I'm wrong, my quarterback can make me right. So these two go hand in hand. This is why it's quarterback dependent. As a coordinator, sometimes I'm a step behind the defense. I have to watch to see what they did on this play to try to figure out what I'm going to do next. And that's going to forever be a part of this game. But sometimes your quarterback can make you right when you're wrong, just either checking you into a relate. Because again, there's the midline option, the triple option, and so a good quarterback can check you from one play into the next. This is what I mean is quarterback dependent. And what this means is if you don't have a quarterback that's tough enough to run the football, you're in trouble. If you don't have a quarterback that can stand there and make a good read and be okay with pressure coming at him, maybe not so much. It's also one negative. What if you only have one stud? Well, a good defensive coordinator, let's say your stud was your B-back, your fullback. A good defensive coordinator is going to say, well, I'm not going to let your fullback beat me. So when you're reading that defensive end, you're going to get a pull read every time. We're going to coach our end every time, crash down and take the dive. Now, of course, there are some answers to that, but defenses, if you only have one stud, it's kind of, the option is not as effective because a good coordinator can scheme to take you out of the option game. And now, yes, you have some plays to answer that, some ISOs and some other things, but that's not really what you want to be running consistently either. Practice time. Practice time and passing game go hand in hand. In order to get good at this, you are going to spend lots and lots of time working on your mesh with that quarterback, putting that ball into the belly and riding that thing, with that tailback. You're going to spend a lot of time working on the mesh, working on the mesh, working on the mesh. Footwork, replace the dive key. We got to give read or pull read, working on carrying out that fake every time. Then we also got to work on the pitch. You have to work on that pitch because if you don't, that ball's going on the carpet. So how you allocate your practice time leads many people, lots of running teams aren't very good at throwing the ball because they spend so much time working on the run game, which is very important. And, depending on what level of football you're talking about, rec ball, high school, if you're a running team is going to have a better chance to win than a passing team. Now, of course, there are exceptions, but if you spend most of your time working on your mesh, that's a lot less time to be working on your 3-step and your drop back passing game. Having said that, in high school we ran a version of this triple option, but we threw the mess out of the ball, and we literally scored more points in the passing game than we did from running the ball, but we were deadly in both. And that shaped me as a coach. So when I was running it, that was my philosophy. I've always been about a 60-40 guy, whereas a lot of triple option guys are 85-15, 89-11. 89% of the time they run the ball. I've never been that. So I believe you can actually become a pretty good passing team. It kind of comes down to your coaching philosophy. And of course, who's a quarterback? That's going to play a role. Do you even have a guy that can throw the ball? Okay, that's going to play a role in what it is you do. So, last thing I want to do, I want to go back. Remember, option football isn't just the old school triple option. And I said during the last video that one of my plays that I stole from the wing T guys was a buck sweep, because, man, that play must have hurt me so many times as a defensive coordinator. I fell in love with it. And then I started running in my offense and had some great success. I'm not a wing T purist. There are lots of ways you can block this. Some will call it the pin and pull. It's all kind of way, whatever. This is one way to block it. All right, so we got a little 4-3, maybe cover 2 shell. Again, we're going to down block this tackle with our offensive tackle. We're going to seal with our end. This guy's gonna pull and wrap tight around that block. We're going to down block here on the nose. This guy's coming again tight. This guy here, this offensive tackle, is gonna step, make sure this wheel's not running through, and if no run through, then he's gonna peel back and block this end right here. So we got the front taken care of. Now, obviously, and of course the tailback, he's meshing right across the front here, looking to stick his leg in the ground and get upfield. Our fast guy, this is my offense, this guy's a threat. He's a home run hitter. You better keep your eyes on him. This guy's going to run what we call a spot route. He's running to a spot right behind that backer, Will. The quarterback is reading Mr. Will here. Of course, Mike, Sam, and everybody's flowing hard. They're seeing these linemen, everybody's going. If Will wants to run, if Will runs, the quarterback will throw that spot and replace the Will. If Will decides he wants to sit there, quarterback just give the buck sweep. And we got pretty good numbers over there. We can do all kinds of things over here with our corner. We can block him. If they have a stud right here, we can do a push crack and block the safety. And you'll say, well, a corner come up and make the tackle. How many corners you know will come up and try to hit a lineman? How many do you have on your team that will run up and try to take on a lineman? No, okay, that's what I thought. So there are lots of games you can play over here with how you block this on the perimeter. Oh, by the way, we have a post over the top. So, of course, after hitting the team up a couple times with this, they're probably not going to tell that Will to stay home, because you just don't want that buck sweep hitting you like that. They're going to, of course, tell us free safety, hey, you rock down. Let's go man up. Great job. Now, you just did that. We can read the second level too. We start seeing that, we'll go second level read. Next adjustment, we can go spot. Now we got like a double post. That's trouble. You know what? This becomes one of those last man with the marker wins. I'm going to do another series. So, quite honestly, when I included this play into the package, it was just that, a play. I had this play and a complement off of it. I didn't have a whole series. And that's one, I'm going to do another video on the power of series. I didn't protect this play enough. Pretty soon, teams, when they saw this formation, they kind of knew we were coming right here, or we were going to run the power read off of it, or maybe run a little shovel back the other way. I didn't have enough plays to protect this play. So, but again, this is kind of getting back to the core of this video. This is option football as well. We are optioning off the will. If the will is wrong no matter what he does. The will is wrong no matter what he does. So just another example of option football, why I love option football. You're going to get a lot of that from me on this channel. And I like to hear some of your comments. What would you do to stop this here? I call this my buck spot. This is my buck spot. I have a buck sweep with a spot right behind it. How would you stop it? What's some of your favorite option plays? I'd love to hear about that in the description. Again, my name is Dale Myers with Football Advance. Let's coach these young men up. Let's make a difference in their lives while we have some fun, guys. Y'all take care.